Hello everyone. In my last video, I showed you how to use ChatGPT, and inside the ChatGPT, how you can upload your data and then train the model, then get the prediction directly from ChatGPT. A lot of subscribers messaged me later that most of the time when you're using the free version of ChatGPT, it cannot complete the task because your tokens or your commands are finished by the time you reach to the middle of the tasks for training, analyzing the data, and predicting. So if I can show how one can ask or use ChatGPT to read a data file, which could be any data file, and then ask ChatGPT to write a Python script which can read the file, analyze the data, and then use different types of machine learning algorithms to test and train the model and then do the predictions. So for that, I have come up with this simple problem. Although the data is very variable, but the aim is to show you how you can use ChatGPT to write or generate a code which really runs and do the task. And then obviously you can further optimize it by modifying different parameters, which I will show you later on. So the data I have used today is the fatigue test data of a composite. And in this case, the data consists of different columns, which is a sigma max. So if you are familiar with fatigue loading, it is the accumulation of damage in the material due to the cyclic loading. So when you apply a cyclic loading, then you basically have a maximum stress, a minimum stress in the cycle, and then the frequency, that how fast or how slow your cycles are loading and unloading the component. And then you do the test until the material fails, and then you count up to that point the number of cycles. And these are the number of cycles up to failure, which is this column here. And then you might have seen in many textbooks SN curve. So this is the stress or strength, which is the maximum strength, as a function of log of the number of cycles to failure curve. So horizontal axis is always a log of number of cycles. So that's what is in here. So log. So we just take the log of this n and we plot. We basically give it, the values are given in the last column of this data file. The data is like this. There are around, I would say for this test, around 1400 something line. There are some issues. There are some values which are not correct. So some data is missing as well, as you can see. So again, when we write or ask ChatGPT, it should basically, you look for these anomalies, missing data, and remove those data which are not useful as well automatically. So all these things we have to really write in the prompt so that ChatGPT gives us the most accurate code as possible for our case. So let's jump into it now. So I'll first go to ChatGPT and I need a prompt. Okay, let me build a prompt first for ChatGPT. So I will say, I will upload this CSV file which I just showed you, and I will say this file contains fatigue test data with following. It is very important how you ask the question, otherwise you may get slightly different results, and that's why you need to learn how to really ask questions to ChatGPT. So these are the columns as I showed you in the data file. X, which is the maximum stress in MPa, sigma min is also in MPa, and is the minimum stress in megapascals. F, and this should be in square brackets because that's the case in that file. So I'm just trying to simplify things and don't want ChatGPT to get confused. So it should be square brackets. Similarly, F, and then hertz is the frequency of loading, and N is the number of cycles failure, and log N is log of N. Okay, then shift enter. Then I say, can you write, or maybe write a Python script which first reads the file, analyze the data, including handling and any missing values. As we have seen already, there are missing values, and there are always some anomalies, so it should deal with the values. and possibly normalizing. Sometimes the values are very large, sometimes the values are very small. As you have seen the data, it goes up to an exponent 11 and also up to 0 or even negative. So normalizing or scaling the data is very important. You can say scaling as well. I'm just using my terminologies. Then train and test. Let's say we can say machine learning model. In that case, I found out that it normally uses random forest model. So we can ask directly that, or we can say a specific name as well, a random forest model. Well, let's go with the support vector machine because I think it's just regression. So that would be much suitable, but you can use even feed forward neural network or any other type of deep learning or machine learning model you want. Support vector machines algorithm to predict the number of cycles to failure. Okay, and then say please note the data is highly variable. As I told you, the values are very large and very small as well. Calculate model's performance metrics on the test set if needed. For example, I can say if mean square error is very high, then identify hyperparameters. So sometimes you need to tune hyperparameters depending on the data and problem you are solving. So I am asking ChatGPT to already include that in the model predictions or use more layers. I think this more layers should be for neural network. So fine tune the model predictions. Finally, we want the tool to ask us after training and testing to input the maximum stress, minimum stress, and frequency of loading, and then predict the number of cycles to failure, which we can then compare with our data or which we compare with any results we might already have. Finally, ask the user to input maximum stress, minimum stress, frequency of loading, and then predict the number of cycles to failure. Again, I'm just writing in my own way. Some people might have a better way of writing and defining these prompts, and so they can get better results. Now I'm going to go and upload the file which I have here in this folder. So this file is now uploaded, and when I press enter, then it should be able to generate a Python script for me. So let's examine the data. This will either I will proceed with the analysis, including this. I'll begin loading the file. So it has identified everything. Hopefully, it should now generate the data for us. So it has identified all the variables, the number of entries. I showed you already, it was 0. There are some places we are missing values. 27 it is identified, and now it's gonna. So it's doing it itself. I don't know why. Well, I asked it to write a Python script for this. Let's see, maybe at the end it will give us a Python script. But I hope the token doesn't finish before that. I think it's just doing it itself. So let me ask, can you just write the Python script or above rather than running yourself? Because it's taking too much time. So now as you can see, it should have written the Python code at the first go, but it didn't. So now I have asked it, and it should be doing it. So you see, it reads the file with that same name. It converts the log to numerical error if it's a normal number, and also it's just cleaning the data as we asked, normalizing the feature, which is the scaling of the parameters, splitting the test and training data. Support vector machine, it's using RBF kernel, uses this value to predict the test data and then computes this and print this out. Then it tries to find the hyperparameters if it's not good based on the high MSE, and then it performs this grid search for that. and get the best model from the grid search, and then make the prediction in the test data again compute these values, print those values, the best upper parameters, and then it will ask us for the input data, and then it will find the output data. And that's what it's saying. The data loads this file, this, and then it should ask us for this. So what I will do now, test time for ChatGPT, I'll copy the code into, let's say, a new file here, this one, and it's the same code as you can see. I will save as, and I will take it to same folder where I have that file, CSV file, and I will call it, this is the random forest model, right? So random forest, oh sorry, it's svm.py. Now you can see the syntax. I think it looks okay. And now we go to this folder, which is downloads folder, and I will try to run this code. So svm, let's see if it works. So you see it did correctly everything. R square value is negative and mean square error is very high. So this means the hyperparameters are not very optimized. So it again find the best fit. And I don't think it's doing a good job with that. You see it has find that C is equals to this, epsilon equals to this, and gamma equals to this. And kernel is linear it's using. I don't know why it should have been using RBF kernel for this. So it's giving us some problems. So what I can do now, I can, because obviously linear kernel will not work with the anomaly highly nonlinear data. So I'm going to interrupt everything. And I'm going to go here and see where it gives different options for kernels. I will say only use RBF here for that. So find the hyperparameters. And now I will rerun it. You can ask the same thing to ChatGPT that always use RBF kernel, and then it will always use RBF kernel. And it's optimizing or finding the hyperparameters. So again, you see the ranges are very high, initial guess, based on RBF. Again, it tries to fit, and again, it doesn't do much good job. And RBF kernel it's using this because we changed it, and now we basically have to test. So let me open this file. It was there, and I would then give some random values to see how it looks like. So let's give this value here and see how does the prediction look like. So maximum stress we can say 638, right? Minimum stress minus 638, and obviously frequency is 1 in this case. It's very low, and you see the predicted cycles to failure are these, while in this case they were around 0.5 cycles, which is very low. So this means the prediction doesn't look really good or promising in this case. So now what you will have to do, since your code is working, you can basically play around with these hyperparameters or find the right parameters which gives you the best fit. So for example, for this case, if I change these hyperparameters which it has found here with some optimized values, so then I can manually do that as well. So let me show you how you can do that. So let's say if we don't want to do this and we want to start the Y prediction with SVR predict, right? So what we can do is SVR kernel IBFC here, it's just using the default ones. So here we can say our own adopted parameters. So we can say degree, for example, equals to 3. Again, you can look into the theory on these parameters and what these commands really mean. But if you're interested, I can give you full details on that as well. Gamma equals to scaling. I'm using some coefficients, coefficient 0 to be equal to, let's say, 0.00. Tolerance equals to 0.001. So I'm giving all the parameters which are involved. C equals to 800. 0. Epsilon is another parameter. Hyperparameter 0.001. Shrinking. I make setting it up to be true. Cache size is not that, but anyway, I can just set it down to 200 maybe. Anyway, if you have anything which you don't understand, just let me know. I can explain, because the aim is not to teach you the SVR thing, but rather to use the ChatGPT code and make it work. So that's what I'm trying to maximum duration equals to 1. So hopefully this would improve something. So let me try to run it again with my own definition. So now if you see, it has gone even worse with those parameters. So again, but after identifying, it tries to come towards 0 r square error, and it is close to 0 right now. And this value is my mean square error is very high, but again, this could be because the data is very variable. And as I told you, I only have a limited number of data here. So again, you can test the model and see how it works. But as you can see, ChatGPT is able to predict that. If, for example, in this case, what is happening is I ask for, let's say, I give a value of 200, then minus 150, and then the frequency of, let's say, 0.5. I get a value, and I also get an error that and user warning basically that was fitted with the feature names is. So basically you had an additional feature of log of n while you're not giving that value, asking this value for that value, and you're just predicting the number of cycles to failure. This is just this warning. If you want to get rid of this warning, you can copy paste this warning and go to ChatGPT and say that, can you remove this warning? What could be the reason? And then it can help you with that as well. So again, you can see it works. If I ask now, can you also write a code for random forest using same info as above? So it should be able to generate that as well. So you see now it's writing the code for random forest as well. Same things, almost start is the same as usual. Okay. Scaling is the thing to find as well. Again, you can play around, you might not need scaling as well. So again, the aim of this thing is to show that ChatGPT is able to generate a code which really works. And it saves you a lot of time now. You don't need to type everything manually. You can generate the whole code, and then you can look into the things which can improve the predictions later on. So that will save you a lot of time. So I hope this is useful. Let me just show you how does the prediction of random forest really looks like. Copy paste this and create a new file now. I will save it as rf.py, and everything is fine. So I will go back to the command prompt and I say, okay, cls Python, and then I will say rf.py. So now you see again the very large value, and this is pretty high, 0.5. It should be as low as possible. It should be near 1, to be very honest. So it's now trying to optimize or find the hyperparameters which are involved in the case of random forest. It's gonna take some time. You can also ask in your prompt where I ask for all the things. You can say, can you also plot the actual test values and the predicted test values after the testing? So it can also generate those plots as well in the Python code. So you see here, again, it bring it up to 0.6 times, which is the best, which is better than the previous SVR model. And if I give a value again, the same as before, or maybe we can use some value to see how close the prediction. I think in the previous case, we used the 638. So 38 minus 638 and frequency of 1. And you see the predictions are number of cycles to failure 0.46, which is very close to 0.53, which was the actual value. We can try for some larger values as well. So let me try again running this thing again. And you can also say that don't end the program, but ask for a new value before the user says exit. Or you can write a few lines in Python at the end as well, which can cover for that. So let's say we use this value to see if we can predict up to 6,000 cycles or not, once it has gone to that level. Once it has gone to that stage, but it's still trying to find the hyperparameters. And now it is asking us for a value. So as we agreed, we're gonna go for 234 minus 234 and frequency of 2. And the data says, according to the prediction, is 3,450, around. While in this case, it's not that bad. It's almost half it's predicting. So again, it needs further work to optimize this thing. And also you can look for better data as well to get the better prediction, or more data, or you can do more experiments to better predict this. So I hope you find it useful how to use ChatGPT prompts to generate machine learning or deep learning codes in Python, and then you can directly use it. And if there are any errors, you can always go copy paste those errors in prompt, and again it can give you a better improved version of the code. So any more questions you have? I know it's a lot of things to digest, but any question, please get back to me and I will try to answer as much as I can. all the best for now. And if you like these series of videos, then please do like and share and comment so that YouTube algorithm can really promote this video. Otherwise, I will move back to the previous videos of mine, which are more about finite element analysis, which I am already doing based on the subscribers' request. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you are not a subscriber. So have a nice day and bye for now.